Central Park, the home of Cowdenbeath FC and Cowdenbeath Racewell, which is stock car racing. Unfortunately, Cowdenbeath are no longer in the Scottish Football League system. They've dropped out, they're now a non-league team. They're in the Lowland League, which is like the 5th tier of Scottish football. That's the main stand that we're coming up to now, I think. Turn south. That's for stock cars line just now. There is indeed. So Cowdenbeath, I think, used to own this ground. They used to be quite high up in the Scottish League system. I think at one stage they were in the Championship, like the 2nd tier of Scottish football, back in about 2014-15. But I think they got into financial trouble. I think they had to sell the ground to the stock cars. Cowdenbeath used to own it and rent it to the stock cars, but now it's the other way around. I think the stock cars own it and they rent it to Cowdenbeath. I came here to watch a match a couple of years ago when I was standing on the terracing over there, I think. This would be the main stand where I am. Then over there they've got like terracing behind the goal. This is the only sort of main stand area, is the only area that's sort of seated and covered. Then they've got the terracing behind the goal over there. Terracing at the opposite goal. You can see the substitute benches over there, and then at the opposite end to the main stand they've got a much larger terracing than what's behind the goals. The sound carries quite far in this ground, so I can remember like when I was here the last time watching a game, there was a guy in the terracing over the far side there, on the terracing that's opposite the main stand, shouting at the manager. The substitute benches and the manager could hear. And then this is the other part. The main stand's split into 2 bits. There's a seating and covered area there, and then there's like a wooden benches and covered area here. It's also noise from those stock cars is something else, I'll tell you. It's unusual to see a football ground used this way. Very unusual. For a non-league football club in Scotland, it's actually quite a decent ground, you know. Definitely a lot of worse non-league grounds than this. Central Park, they call it. Yeah, pal. Got stopped and asked what I was doing there. Stock car doesn't attract that many folk anymore, does it? I think the whole time I've been in the stadium I've maybe seen about 10 people. Can't be making a lot of money out of it. You think the amount of effort that goes into sort of running something like this. They've got to have a pit crew, they've got to have maintenance guys for the cars, you've got to have mechanics on standby, you've got to have health professionals on standby, a lot of health and safety guys, and then they're only getting about 10 folk coming to watch. Can't be much profit in that. But it's a day out, I suppose. And it is a nice ground, I don't care what anyone says, for a non-league football club in Scotland, this is pretty much alright, you know. What a day. Yeah, it was just over here. The last time I came, can't remember who they were playing. I think it was just after they had got relegated to the non-league. Just after they got relegated to the Lowland League, I came here to watch the game. Can't remember who they were playing. I know they lost because a guy standing on the terracing over there was shouting to the manager over there, giving him dogs abuse, and the manager could actually hear they were shouting back and forward, which you wouldn't normally expect, shouting at each other over the length of a football pitch. But it wasn't that big a crowd that day. It was kind of like a summery day like this, and it was towards the end of the season. There wasn't a big number here. Someone's broken down. That's what I mean about them not making much profit out of stock cars anymore. They've got to have mechanics like that on standby to fix the cars when they break down. Now, having a couple of mechanics here for the whole event must cost a bit of money. And then having all the health and safety folk and health professionals that you've got to have on standby must cost a bit of money. You're not going to recuperate that kind of money on a gate of 10 people selling 10 tickets, are you? I think it's only about a tenner a ticket, so 10 tickets, do the math. That's 100 quid, or you can just sneak in for free like what I've just done. Climb the fence. That's a laugh of Central Park in Fife, of Cowdenbeath FC, who currently play in the